For fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 20 Ultimate Team coins, make sure you guys go check out my sponsor U4GM Coins. Use code VENM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good, guys? Fire here, back from the video, and today I'm be going over yet another defense. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different. It's more of a Bluff Blitz type of a concept. You can also mix in the coverage. Now, there's not really going to be one concrete setup to this play. I'm going to show you guys the different ways that I like to run it, but it's just going to be, an annoying defense to go against because you never really know what your opponent's going to be doing. So here we are. We're in the 3-3-5 odd, really good formation last year. This year, nobody really runs it, but I do have ran it a little bit in draft champs and some other modes. But with that being said, the play is going to be this linebacker cross 3 show 2. Now, these looping blitzes, we all know, were very popular last year, and just because they were difficult to block the linebackers that went through. But what I want to show you guys is simply how I like to defend certain formations. I'll try and flick through a couple of those main formations. But first things first, what I like to do is go ahead and just base a line. I like having my corners inside, so I like to base a line. You can press as well if you want to, but sometimes when you press, this player gets misaligned, so you might have to move him back. So anyway, take a look at the play stock. We have 2 seam flats. We have our 2 linebackers, inside linebackers blitzing. And then we also have just the 3 down linemen as well as a contain. Now, the first way you can run it is you can just run it stock. The only thing I would say to do is just go ahead, shade over the top. So you will have a pretty good contains, but you're not really necessarily going to get pressure. It's just going to be a little bit weird, different pressure. So let's just go ahead, snap the ball. Just going to use the drag, use the crosser, and you guys see we got pressure relatively quickly. Now, I only blocked 4 people, but I'll just show you guys the replay, show you guys how someone weird is going to come free. Look at the blitz, boom, the loop, and look how this linebacker right here, this guy right here, he's not going to get picked up, number 40, so he's not going to get picked up. Take a look at him. Just look at, so Damon Harrison, for whatever reason, he crashes to that left side. I didn't do that. But look at that. 2 linemen, number 75, they actually double team him, and he is just going to be unblocked. Sometimes you will get that clean animation where he's actually going to come free. Unfortunately for us, we didn't. But take a look at our middle linebacker as well. He's just going to shed that very instantly, and as well as just pushing him back, pushing him very far back. We also have those contains, so it's going to be difficult for him to scramble out the pocket. And this is pretty good just because the running back usually never, for whatever reason, picks up on those linebackers. It'll usually go to double team one of those down linemen. But again, all you really have to do is press. You don't have to base a line, but I just prefer having this guy in just so that they don't snap throw a streak to McLaurin or whatever. I feel like that scares them off a little bit, but it's pretty much just a stock cover 3. You do have those looping blitz. Again, I'll snap it, and this is me making no adjustments. You guys see we didn't get pressure there necessarily. He did break that sack, but again, that's just the basic way. I'm going to go over a couple of more complicated setups as we go. So the next way that you can really run this blitz, again, this is one that I personally like to do, is you can actually leave this 3-rec and just use this curl flat right here. Now, this setup is a little bit different, but again, one of those other things, you can actually blitz one of these players off the edge. So I like to blitz Kennard, the player that was in our curl flat, blitz him, and then you're going to actually user one of these linebackers, preferably the one right here with Davis. So I'm going to actually user him just because I do have to use the right side. So if there's a, out route, whatever the case is, particularly against Trey Y flex, I don't really have to worry about anything besides the crosser, but this is going to be a really good defense to defend it. And we also have this guy coming off the edge, so it's just going to confuse them right off the bat. Maybe they expect those 2 linebackers, but they don't. Now, for whatever reason, that contain actually goes in a pretty annoying spot. You guys see sometimes when you contain him, he just rushes inside. So probably the way you might want to rock is just to not even put him on the contain. Maybe just rock with this. So again, I'm just manually blitzing him. I could just go ahead and crash down for that as well, but I like to contain, so I like to crash down, contain, and then I like to press and shade over the top. So again, just going to use this linebacker right here. I'm just going to snap the ball, and just like that, we get the better contain animation. But again, you're not really getting as much glitchy pressure when you don't blitz those 2 linebackers. So that's something that you should probably keep in mind. Again, If I want to use this little linebacker right here, what I like to do is just put the safety in a curl flat. That's a pretty safe way to defend this formation. But anyways, the next way that you can actually run it is, again, you probably want to base the line so this player moves in, but you're going to actually move your corner in. So again, this is going to be a send 7 type of a blitz where you're blitzing both that outside linebacker and the slot DB. Preferably pressed as well. For whatever reason, these guys won't press, but for this case, something I would probably do against a trip set is run something similar to this. Might even want to man up the slot receiver like this, and yeah, so this is probably the setup. Now on offense, what I would probably do against this is just max pro, but the thing is, you don't know if you're running coverage or if I'm blitzing, so I have the same exact look as a send 4 as a send 7 as I do right here. So the look's going to be the same. So let's say they do end up just max proing like this, and you guys see they ended up picking it up pretty good, but we're still getting that quick pressure. So the thing about this is it's going to be very difficult for them to end up chop blocking anybody in particularly. And what I mean by that is they can't just get him out of the way and roll out just because you don't know who's going to be blitzing. So again, what I'm going to do is just baseline press. I'm going to move this player in, blitz him, and then recontain. But the thing I was talking about is that, let's say I want to go and chop block this linebacker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide off, I'm going to double team him, and I'm going to block ID him. So this is how you would chop block the player on the right, which is normally the player I would chop block in a case similar to this. So let's say I go for the chop block, but does he know? Little does he know, we're still sending that little glitchy type of a pressure. So again, also when you're baseline, if you just man him up, this Darius Slay should move in. But again, here's a look at the setup. Let's say we set up the chop block, and guess what? He's going to scream in free. And the thing about this is nobody necessarily knows how to block it a specific way. Just because people never want to sit in the pocket, especially against pressure, and especially if you're setting 7. Let's say maybe you even have a D-line ability. It can really help with this blitz just because your opponent, he's not going to be able to really scramble out because he can't double team. Maybe if he slides one way, he can try and find a way, but it's really difficult. And if you notice him doing that, again, you can just go ahead, contain that D-lineman, keep this player on the blitz, keep him on the contain. That'll help as well. So again, a very diverse type of a blitz, probably. And again, if you wanted to mix it up even more, something you could do is maybe I just blitz this slot corner now. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this outside linebacker back in coverage right here. And if I do that, what I would probably do is put him in a middle third and user this player right here. Again, you just want to mix it up every time. You don't want to blitz the same exact player, every single down, just because your opponent might pick up on your tendencies, whatever the case may be. So that's why I said I like to go ahead and mix things up, have different people blitz every time. Maybe you go ahead and move him out a little bit like this, so he's blitzing off the edge. Yeah, just a lot of different things you could do. So I snap the ball, boom, and you guys see we do get that quick pressure. Now I did forget to block my running back there, but still very decent pressure. Now, a way that I've actually learned to run this blitz, and it's a pretty weird way. It's a way that you can't get shot blocked. So what I like to do, move these players out to the contains. So right there, and sometimes it'll get glitched. You even have to move them out pretty far, like right here. For whatever reason, it just keeps not working. It was working earlier for me. Let's try it with him. But maybe you have to recontain like this. But this player's just moving in. I'm not sure what the reason is. But sometimes you'll be able to move these players out and they'll just stay like that. So he's going to be on the contain. But even if he's not, you can still have them rush inside like that. And it still can get glitchy, as you saw right there. Now, the way I was talking about is if I was able to get these players on the outside in a contain like this, where you guys see he's in a contain right here. For whatever reason, when I click off, it just doesn't show him in a contain, so I'm not sure if he's running that assignment or not. He just keeps moving out. But it is what it is. You could even move him down like this, but he's still not in the contain, so it is what it is. But again, it is a pretty weird blitz. Some weird stuff will happen. But for the most part, like I said, I don't really run this too much. You want to run it just every once in a while to confuse your opponent. Like I said, you can still audible between the cover 2 classic and the cover 3. So maybe there's even a cover 4 out of this formation that's pretty good as well. But like I said, just keep mixing between these. Confuse your opponent. He's not going to know who necessarily to block. And you guys see again that looping pressure. If you throw some couple 90 speed safeties there, it's going to be pretty quick pressure. But that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. On the road to 10K. We just hit 8K. Thank you guys for 8K subscribers. Appreciate all the recent support on the new videos. And yeah, peace. I'm out of here.